Hello, this is Dave Sugarbaker, and we're back in business. I've figured out how to post my things on Facebook, and I'm going to tell you the saga today. This is March 12th, 23, and I have 4 proverbs that are all about getting mad or not getting mad. First, Proverbs 14. This is from Proverbs 14. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Okay. The 15th chapter includes this. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quiets contention. From the 19th chapter of Proverbs, good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. And finally, from the 29th chapter, a fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Okay. Well, I have some tech wisdom to ask you about. First, I'm going to talk about tech today. What was Forrest Gump's email password? This is a joke. Forrest Gump's email password was 1 Forrest 1. Second one, here's another tech mystery. Why couldn't the man escape the Apple store? Because there were no windows. And finally, and we've all been here, what is the biggest lie that we all tell? And that is, I have read and agreed to all the terms and conditions. Well, I came up with one more, and that is, as far as the writer of Proverbs is concerned, a wise man's ulcers are better than a fool's black eye. Is it really better to hold it in? Well, maybe it's better to avoid the aggravation in the first place. But that's what I'm going to talk about, is that aggravation. I have had a 3-week argument with my computer. It began when I tried to upload my sermon on weddings, etc., to my Facebook account. I was accustomed to choose what video I wanted to upload and give it a name and a date and then hit post. And it would take a few minutes, but my video would always upload to Facebook. Not this time. The image of the video got unusually gray, and an ominous message appeared. And the message was this, literally word for word, something went wrong. This may be due to a technical error that we are working to get fixed. Reload. Now, reloading was a nice suggestion, but it didn't work. Reloading the next day didn't help. I tried to reload all week long. 3 weeks later, those poor people were still slaving away at Facebook on that technical problem, but I was having no luck whatsoever. Of course, the notice says that they may be working on the problem, and then again, maybe they're not working on it at all. Or maybe it was something that I said that caused them to disconnect me. I remember in recent weeks prior to being disconnected, I remember commenting on the fact that I believed that the way the online monitors worked was that we see stuff that will get us more and more addicted to more and more screen time. Now, maybe that kind of trash talk isn't allowed on social media sites like Facebook. But in any case, after 2 years of uploading video sermons on Facebook, suddenly something went wrong. And it didn't look like it was going to be fixed anytime soon. That is aggravating. Now, I have to admit, I don't like it when technology turns on me. I was going blithely along, and suddenly what used to work didn't work anymore. Not because of some announced upgrade or anything, but just at random, the program, the technology turned on me somehow. So I racked my tiny brain for alternatives. I'm not that good at technology. I used to learn from my sons who kept up with technology, and they kept bringing me up to date on what was going on. But I didn't have that resource anymore. I decided that I would create a personal website and post my videos there. But it's been more than 10 years since I created a website. And now there are different and hopefully less painful programs for website creation. I'll have to start from square one, I told myself. I asked a tech professional friend who is deep into this stuff about learning again how to create a website. And he said, oh, it's easy. There are hundreds of YouTube tutorials to teach you how to make a website. Okay, well, the ones that I could find on YouTube all wanted me to sign up for a paid series of tutorials. And then, in addition, they wanted me to pay them to host my website, $15 a month for the rest of my life. That's aggravating. But I bit the bullet, and I tried to sign up with one of the website creation companies. And their first question for me was, okay, what's your Google password? I use Google for email. Lots of people do. But do I remember my Google password? Not really. Okay, they said, since I don't know my password, they would have to send me an email to my office, not to my home. Turns out they can't deal with anything but business email addresses. And I already knew that the email at my office hasn't been working since 2011. Now that's aggravating. At that point, I gave up. I posted to my 80 to 100 followers on Facebook about my technical difficulties. And I got an almost immediate reply from a friend in Washington State who used to be part of a youth group that I had about 100 years ago. And she said, well, why don't you post your videos to YouTube and then have YouTube send them to Facebook? The upload to YouTube took less than a minute, and Facebook used to take 15 or more. And YouTube immediately sent the video to Facebook. No problems. And I was back in business. After 3 weeks of hand-wringing and aggravation, all's right with the world. Well, not really, but that aggravating problem seems to be solved. And I began to reflect, who could have imagined that that 5-year-old kid who listened to the Lone Ranger on a desktop radio the size of a small suitcase would grow up and find himself wrestling with technology that only Dick Tracy could then imagine? Now, I know that 100 years from now, none of this is going to matter. But I was upset by it all. And part of me knows that it really didn't do any good to be aggravated about it. People who study culture these days say a lot of us are more angry than we used to be. And there are different strategies for lowering our aggravation level. Some people decide they're not going to watch the news anymore, and others have decided to switch off their screens. Still others just refuse to talk about certain topics, like politics and religion. But you know, it's not something outside that reaches into our psyche and flips our anger switch. It's a perceptual choice that we make for ourselves. I know that somewhere behind my aggravation, somewhere behind my anger, is fear. I'm a perfectionist. I think I'm a reformed perfectionist, just like somebody can be a reformed alcoholic. But I'm a perfectionist, and when things work, I can feel falsely competent and safe from judgment. And when things go randomly askew, I get aggravated because I feel vulnerable to judgment. When I get my ducks in a row again, then I regain my false sense of safety from judgment. The assignment for me is not to get angry when my ducks don't stay in a row, and they never do. I need to disconnect from my fear of judgment. When we find anger, look behind it for fear. Now, why is this a religious issue? Because perfect love drives out fear. Now, God bless. Stay safe. If you find value in this, I'd appreciate it if you pass it along. And good luck. I hope you don't have any problems viewing it on Facebook. Bye-bye.